And a good spiritual morning to you once again. I'm Father Cosmas. Thanks for joining me today for a quick chat and, of course, our morning cup of coffee. And this week, as this video is coming out anyway, I'm away at camp. So yes, I'm cheating and pre-recording this one because I'm at camp this week. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about camp. Well, not really camp itself, but the idea of getting away and taking a spiritual retreat, and the incredible impact that that can have for us. Because kids go to church regularly, and when I say regularly, hopefully a couple times a month. I mean, I know there are some kids that are in church every week. Most of our kids are missing, a Sunday here or there. We do our best, try to make it. I get that. And but then camp comes around, and here's this sort of immersion, right, spiritually, where for a week straight, they're completely removed from their regular routine. They're removed from technology. They're at a place where they're going to church usually twice a day. They're going to Orthodox life sessions or Bible studies and having encounters, and they're, maybe even like at our camp, they're going visiting a local monastery because it's associated with it. They're having this amazing spiritual encounter that is an immersive experience, right? It's like if you want to learn a language, you go live in the country and have an immersion, right? You just do nothing but speak the language. And if you can do that, all of a sudden you'll learn it a lot better than just sort of staying home and going and taking one language class at school and never speaking it outside of class. So it's this immersive experience that can really be transformative because it helps the kids really connect to God in a sort of substantial way that they're not doing in their regular day-to-day life. And what a great model for us as adults. So our kids should be doing this. It's incredibly important for them as kids to do that. But for adults, when do we have our immersion? When do we have I'm talking about baptism, when do we have our immersive spiritual experience? When are we really sort of getting out of our daily grind and saying, okay, I'm going to give a little bit of time designated just for me and my relationship with Christ, and I'm going to immerse myself in that for however long. And, it's not always going to be a week, might be less than that. And it might not be this sort of great planned pilgrimage. If you can do pilgrimages, that's great. I'm not talking about taking 10 days and going to the Holy Land. If you can do that, of course, those are amazing immersive experiences. But what we should be trying to do is find little times and little sort of slots that we can break out of our regular grind, our regular routine, and we can find time to immerse ourselves in just our relationship with Christ. And sometimes it's just taking a day. Sometimes it might be just an overnight trip. I mean, if you take a real trip and you go overnight, you have that feeling, you come back and you feel like, wow, I feel like I was gone for 4 days, although it was 24 hours or 48 hours. Sometimes a short trip can make all the difference in the world. Sometimes even a day trip can do that if you radically change your environment and you make it a way of focusing in on your relationship with Christ. Some ideas for that, once again, trying to find God in nature, we can do that. And maybe coupling that together with visiting a different church, visiting a monastery, visiting a church that has relics of a saint. We're blessed to be close by to San Francisco. You have the relics of St. John Maximovich there. Just doing a day trip and going to San Francisco, seeing the ocean, right? Going down and seeing the relics of St. John. Just spending a few hours doing something that you haven't done for a long time or haven't been able to do. Taking 2 or 3 hours and driving down to the camp where the monastery of the life-giving spring is, and spending a few hours there. It can feel like you're gone for 3 or 4 days. You're completely removed, you're up in the mountains, there's this beautiful, these rolling hills, a view a little bit there of the valley and Dunlap. You see these beautiful iconography, the monastery, you're around these beautiful services. Whatever it might be, getting away and going and enjoying nature, going to the beach, going to the mountains, doing a spiritual excursion, going to a church or a monastery. It doesn't have to be 3, 4, 5 days, 10 days. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars to go to the other side of the world. You can do it right here or wherever you happen to be in your backyard. I'm sure there's ways of finding places to go in your backyard, wherever you live, that aren't too far away, that you can say, okay, you know what? I can meet God here. And it's out of my daily routine, and it'll be an immersive experience. And even though it might be short, I can still find God there. And then when I find Him there, it'll be easier for me to find Him in my routine each and every day. Amen.